the first thing that we drive proud is the Gorkha regiment. That's the courageous regiment that we had. That's the most fiery people that we have. And that fiery people have won us money wars. That is a historical fact. So that the loyalty and the courage is one thing that we drive a pride in. We have the cultural affinity with each other because we share the same terrains. We have the marital ties with each other. And the Maharani of my state was from the Nepal only. So we have a special inclination towards Nepal. Majority of the army generals in GMK were from Nepal. So we have that affinity. Now if you look to the Indo-Nepal relationship, we shared the cultural relationships. We had the MOU with the Sangeet Natak Academy or the Drama and Song Division. And in future, I look forward to more and more interaction because I believe that we are culturally vibrant persons. And if we are culturally vibrant, we should be in a position to expose our talent to the world. And the world is not that vibrant. That's one thing. I say that we should go for development. Go ahead. Every political party, every political government, when they go for development, they have got their own vested interest to take care of. Man interaction, there has nothing at stake. So it brings that peace and prosperity more than the meeting of the mind at the higher level. So when we talk of development, we got to look to what are our positive potentials. What we can, it's not that we intend to import and we'll import and we'll import. And then if we keep on entering that way and keep on importing everything, we'll be entering into a debt trap. And it's very difficult to come out of it. So we should think of what are our potentialities. We should be in a position to give away those things to the other part of the world. And we should think of what is the utmost necessity that we are going to have. And that necessity should be brought inside a particular country. Otherwise, there are going to be difficult times for every country. And with this idea in mind, I again say hello to you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your kind words. Your words of congratulations have substantially improved the moods of volunteers and organizers who have been in a stressful mindset from the early hours today. Now, in line with our idea of connectivity with South Asia, our next speaker, Mr. Ismail Khan, will highlight Pakistan's role in economic development of South Asia.
Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, officials, keynote speakers, teachers and students. First of all, I would like to thank Kathmandu School of Law for inviting me to this very important dialogue. My special thanks are due to Dr. Vikas Sangula and Mr. Ravi who ensured that I attend this conference in any case. Starting off, I would also like to congratulate KSL and obviously Dr. Vikas Sangula for holding what I think is first of its kind and unique dialogue on the regional connectivity of South Asia. I think such dialogues are really needed in today's world. It is a world where nations, leaders and people are on the one hand getting connected technologically, but if you look at them politically, they are getting disconnected from each other. Countries or regions that were once spearheading the connectivity initiatives are now thinking of backing off. So in that context, I think it is very significant and important that the KSL has been thinking of connecting with South Asia. Most of you would know less connectivity has more or less been a norm. Because most of you are students of international law, so I will just present some of the submissions of our work in Pakistan's relation with other countries in the context of South Asia. Now, Pakistan's role in economic development in South Asia as a bloc is not that significant as is of other countries in South Asia. So why is it so? Because South Asia is the least integrated region in the case, in any case. Intra-region trade, that is trade between countries, among countries of South Asia, is less than 10%, some say it's 5%, especially when you compare with other regions like Europe or North America. Now this is interesting, this less intra-regional, intra-region trade exists on the one hand, and on the other hand, South Asians are culturally more similar actually than other groups. I mean, the only time they work abroad is in the Gulf countries. When I was coming here to Kathmandu, I had to transit in a Gulf country, and I realized that there were a lot of Nepalis, Bengalis, Indians and Pakistanis. And I interacted with some of them, and they told me that they have been working together in different companies of the Gulf countries. So these laborers, these South Asian laborers are often credited for building the cities in the Gulf countries. So why, if they are given an opportunity to do so back home, why would not they do so? Where they speak the same language, they eat the same food and watch the same movies. Now this economic disconnect, as I argue, ultimately touches the people-to-people disconnect. We do not have economic initiatives, and ultimately people of South Asia, which are culturally similar, do not get a chance to meet with each other. So what are the challenges? Well, obviously it's politics or security concerns that override economy in any case. That is the core argument. To be further specific, Pakistan-India relations actually are often singled out as hampering or obstructing any progress in the South Asia initiative. Meetings upon meetings of the SARC summit of foreign ministers have been cancelled at the last moment by one or the other country. But mind you, security challenges, I argue, are not the only challenge. Years of less integration actually has created its own interest groups, even in the realm of economy. Competing interest groups also do not want or do not think that integration is the way forward, at least now. Just to give you an example, in one of our previous governments, when the government tried to extend the most favored nation status to India, which is actually about lowering tariff economically, some of the resistance in both parts of the countries, actually on both sides of the border, came from the agriculture sector. That challenge is also important. So the question is, if there is rivalry, if there is conflict, there are groups, then how do you move on? Why not talk about politics first and then not about connectivity later on? But I personally think there are ways forward and we have to think out of the box. Another example I would give, which gives me some ray of hope, it is that it is true that the two South Asian countries, Pakistan and India, are often blamed for sabotaging the broader South Asian project, but the two countries, both countries actually abide by what is now a half-century-old treaty on water, which is basic economic development indicated above. Now, despite all the ups and downs in Pakistan-India relations, despite wars, all the accusations and counter-accusations, the Indus Water Treaty has stayed intact. So there must be something in that treaty where you are moving. So this is something I want to leave to the imagination of students of international law when they are deliberating in their dialogues. So that will be my first ray of hope that we can, if we think out of the box. The second is that instead of focusing on the 90% or 95% of the trade, which is not being connected, let us look at the 5% trade that is actually thriving and happening. It clearly speaks that there is a demand. And the other way to look at demand is to look at informal trade among these countries. Trade, they say, find its way like water. Even if you obstruct it, somehow it will get through. In this regard, I will just give you some examples from Pakistan relation with Afghanistan. Pakistan's trade with Afghanistan, informal trade with Afghanistan is often at the size of formal trade. And I am sure such sort of trade actually also exists between Pakistan and India, and I am sure between Pakistan and Nepal and other parts of South Asia. On ground, it simply means that the benefit of transacting what we think is illegally for the individuals is greater than the costs of being get caught. Now, these people are benefiting from the centuries-old roots. We often say, and one of the purpose of this dialogue is that connectivity will usher development. But when we sit with policymakers and they ask for examples, I think there is no good example or excellent example of how connectivity drives development, and looking at the fact that the border economies actually thrive from these connectivities or these connected trades. Especially this applies in the context of Pakistan and Afghanistan relation, where those engaged in trading to and from Afghanistan are people from the bordering areas. They are the truckers, the sellers, the shopkeepers and so on. They are not only engaged in formal trade but also informal trade. And we end up convincing the policymakers also, if you integrate those parts of the country, that would be a starting point. It has the potential of resolving some of our conflicts also. Pakistan and Afghanistan border areas are increasingly, and in fact for the last 10 days are in the news precisely for security or insecurity issues, and one of the causes because of less economic development in that part of the world. So engaging them economically, I think, is a great way forward. Recently, actually early this year, there was a trilateral foreign minister meeting in Beijing, which was participated by China, Afghanistan and Pakistan. And the statement of the conference was that the Belt and Road Initiative will collectively consider starting with the border areas. So that's another way you can look at the issues. The point is one has to look out of the box. When I was searching for intra-region trade actually in South Asia, the example of the comparisons were with the European Union, but we tend to forget that the European Union itself, the foundation of EU was built on what is called the European coal and steel community. So there were certain industries that first sort of connected amongst each other and then built the European Union. I'm not sure if that is the way forward, but we have to think or explore piecemeal and I would say out of the box, and I'm sure this dialogue at the Institute of KSL will certainly help in exploring these options. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, remarks aside. We express our heartfelt gratitude for your presence and candid remarks. Often, pointing out difficulties in open is frowned upon. However, it is only when we acknowledge our difficulties can we work on improving and rebuilding it. Definitely, South Asia and the countries in South Asia have fair share of problem within them. That is why we have this dialogue, this platform for having an open discussion so that we can work and rebuild it. Thank you, sir, for reminding us that this is indeed possible on an international level. Now, on furthering our theme of connectivity, our next speaker, Mr. Muhammad Mustafa Hussain, will give an address on Nepal-Bangladesh relation and the future of South Asia.
Honorable Chief Guest, the Prime Minister of Nepal, dignitaries, special guests, my teacher, Professor Yuvraj Shangrula, a jurist and lawyer, dignitaries and participants from different countries in South Asia and other continents. It is really a great honor and privilege for me to attend such kind of distinct and unique of its kind, I think for the first time, of such diverse engagements of different countries, participation in such condensed forum. So certainly this is going to have a long-lasting and an intergenerational legacy upon the future generations. Well, the topic is to focus upon the relations between Nepal and Bangladesh. So at first, Bangladesh got its independence in 1971, in which Nepal was the 7th country in the globe to recognize its independence. Then, before this, we see in 11th century there was this Satish Dipankar, a Buddhist devotee, who traveled to this Himalayan belt and reached to Tibet, as well as he again returned to Bangladesh and thereby again traveled to Indonesia. So the point of my reference of this person is that long back we had been commonalities and we were traveling from one part of this region to another part and getting the resource, knowledge and other contents. In terms of area, Bangladesh and Nepal both has almost similar. Nepal having the highest peak of the earth, Bangladesh has the longest sea beach in the world. And in last dialogue of the fourth ministerial trade issues, this was the particular slogan that let us collectively advocate about our tourism issues. Now, if you look at the constitution of both countries, it always, Article 25 of the Constitution of Bangladesh requires that it will have its international relation based on sovereign equality as well as its mutual respect and principles enshrined in UN Charter. The Constitution of Nepal in Article 35, which is clearly and specifically mentioned about the bilateral and neighboring relationships with its neighboring countries. Now, after the independence of Bangladesh in 1978, this was the first time a joint economic commission was established, and after that, the trade floor. Basically, this was the year when the king of Nepal visited Bangladesh. Now, in order to understand the situation, you see, in between Bangladesh and Nepal, there is a corridor of India which is around 22 or 18 kilometers. Now, it is time really to think, and the discussion is on the table, that as a landlocked country, under United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, Nepal has the right to access the nearest port of other countries. In that regard, Bangladesh is the closest port for Nepal. So the discussion is going on, and it is going to be, if successful, the best and the most cherished outcome in terms of the bilateral and trilateral relations. The outflow of trade will be increased in larger scale, and thereby the relationships will further develop. Bangladesh is also trying to have electricity installments here in Nepal, hydroelectric powers. Now, unfortunately, both the countries doesn't have any bilateral investment treaties or agreements. So I'm talking about legal points of view, so that since it's an international issue, so there has been a discussion in last June, bilateral investment protection and prevention agreement. It is bestowed upon the Nepal Division of Trade and Commerce to draft, and thereby it will be sent to Bangladesh. And if both parties agree, then there will be an agreement between themselves. Now, looking into the issues for future, I think both the countries have several challenges. First is the climate change issues, and of course terrorism and other issues which require collaboration, cooperation, further engagements. And well, talking about the SAARC within the bilateral relation of both countries, it is unfortunate that we observe when the SAARC summit is going on, somehow the focus from the whole multilateral issues is diverted to particular bilateralism, which I think need to be further enhanced in terms of focusing on the whole regional identity. Another issue which, as a student of international law, I always try to understand that the country of like Bangladesh and Nepal, which stands in an equal position, we have less representation, particularly in international forums. That is an academic. I mean, if you look at the International Court of Justice, International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea, International Criminal Court, then of course World Trade Organizations. I don't know why and how these things happen, but these are the issues which I think our people are quite qualified to represent in those bodies. And of course, see, the point I would like to mention is, if you look at the Europe today, in W make a complaint, the whole European community comes forward and then they tackle as European community, not as an individual country. So I believe, and we had discussion with Professor Shkandula who also agreed with us that, see, it is high time for us to really understand and focus that if we have a better relations within the neighbors, that is going to help best to us. As the learners, it is going to help us in terms of sharing, understanding, gaining, experiencing knowledges, which because of the border issues are being divided. So that is one thing, because you see, even 1,000 years back, we had the university in Takshashila where a student of 12 to 15 years of age used to study penology, politics and many discourses. But today, we, I think, need to think about those issues. And of course, in terms of this regional identity, I believe by these kind of programs and arrangements, perhaps through further engagements and more connectivity, academically as well as with strategies, personalities and government officials, maybe a generation must understand that it's not we should be separated and segregated. Rather, it is the time that we must continue our identity as a united identity along with the diversity what we have. With all this, I am looking forward excitingly to the next 3 days conversation and in-depth engagements, and thank you for your question.
Thank you, sir. Although Nepal and Bangladesh are not adjacent to each other, we are positive that the development of this relationship will prove to be symbiotic for both the nations and South Asia at large. And I'm sure the Kathmandu School of Law will be more than delighted to work on bringing this bilateral investment agreement between the two countries. Moving ahead, we cannot mention South Asia without touching upon SAARC. Thus, to address SAARC and the way forward, please join me in welcoming Professor Dr. Tara Prasad Sakota.
Good afternoon. Honorable Chief Guest, Deputy Prime Minister of Nepal, distinguished guests, guest of honor, special guests, delegates from abroad, and journalists, ladies and gentlemen. It is immense pleasure for me to be here and express few words on the theme SAARC and the way forward before you distinguished guests and participants. South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation is the regional intergovernmental organization and geopolitical union of nations in South Asia, founded in December 1985 in Dhaka, with objectives to promote socio-economic development and regional integration. SAARC comprises 8 countries, and in the beginning, Afghanistan was not the member of SAARC, and Afghanistan joined in 2007. SAARC comprises 3% of world's area, 21% of world's population, and 3.8% of the global economy as of 2015. Its secretariat is based in Kathmandu, Nepal. SAARC has 8 observers. They are Australia, China, the European Union, Iran, Japan, Mauritius, Myanmar, South Korea, and the United States. Myanmar is requesting to be a full member of SAARC, whereas Russia, Turkey, and South Africa are interested to be an observer. SAARC has 6 apex bodies. They are SAARC Chamber of Commerce and Industry, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation in Law, South Asian Federation of Accountants, South Asia Foundation, South Asia Initiative to End Violence Against Children, and Foundation of SARC Writers and Literature. SARC has recognized 17 agencies. If we look at the achievements of SARC has launched visa exemption scheme for the peoples of the member state since 1992. SARC has adopted the SAFTA agreement in January 2004 and came into force in 2006. The SAFTA is adopted with the objective trade liberalization among the member states. SARC has established 3 awards. These are SARC Award, SARC Literary Award, and SARC Youth Award. SARC has founded South Asian University in Delhi in 2010 with objectives, among others, to enhance learning in the South Asian community that promotes an understanding of one another's perspectives and strengthen regional consciousness. SARC Charter requires holding summit once a year or more often, as and when necessary by the member states in a rotation basis. However, the summits were generally taken place approximately every 18 months. During 33 years of establishment or foundation, 1985 to 2018, only 18 summits have been held. Pakistan is scheduled to host the 19th summit of SARC in Islamabad on 15 to 16 November 2016. Afghanistan, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and Maldives announced boycott due to attack in an army camp at Uri on 18 September 2016. Pakistan postponed the SARC summit and announced that new dates would be released soon, but it did not happen. SARC is one of the inactive regional associations compared to other regional associations across the continent. There is no mutual trust among the members of the SARC, thereby making an ineffective association. There are several reasons behind this. These include longer dispute over Jammu and Kashmir, emergence of eastern Pakistan as Bangladesh with the help of Delhi, and utilization of water resources are the major issues existed between India and Pakistan. Similarly, utilization of water resources and fencing of borders are the major issues between India and Bangladesh. Utilization of water resources, construction of dams, adjacent areas, encroachment of land, trade and transit, Indo-Nepal peace and friendship treaty, and 4 months long blockade of India in 2015 are the major issues existed between Nepal and India. Launching 30 years long civil war in Sri Lanka by India with the help of India and killing to PM Rajiv Gandhi by Sri Lankan terrorists are the major issues between India and Sri Lanka. Sri Lankan pirates attack over Maldives is one of the main issues between Sri Lanka and the Maldives. Refugee settlement is the main issue between Nepal and Bhutan. Terrorism is the main issue between Pakistan and Afghanistan. Thus, there is no single nation in SARC that is free from bilateral issue. The reason that among the member countries of the SARC, India is in the central point of the above issues. Most importantly, the relationship between India and Pakistan has been affected seriously. The September 18 attack at Uri became one of the main reasons for strained Indo-Pak relations and thereby affecting the motion of the SAARC. Mutual respect and trust are the key elements for solving the problems. For that, honest contemplation by the member states should be taken and bilateral and multilateral open heart dialogues should be carried out. Initiate for dialogues. According to High Commissioners of Pakistan, Major General Syed Shakil Hussain, the outstanding issues should be addressed with an open heart while having mutual respect and regard for sovereignty. Mr. Hussain suggests that the nations having observer status within SAARC could use to rectify lapses within the regional bodies. Former Sri Lankan Foreign Secretary and Secretary General of SAARC from 1999 to 22 says that the need of honest introspection in working towards taking SAARC forward as an organization created for the well-being of its people. The relationship between India and Pakistan must be improved. Until and unless the relationship between India and Pakistan does not improve permanently, we cannot make the SAARC effective. Recently, there are some rays of hope appeared with the formation of new government of Pakistan headed by Mr. Imran Khan. Both the Prime Ministers of India and Pakistan have shown willingness to improve the bilateral relationship and have called for dialogues. Let us expect successful dialogues between the two countries. At least, not the least. At last, not the least, I would like to thank to KSL for organizing the international summer school named the Kathmandu Dialogue Program and this auspicious gathering. Finally, I wish for its grand success. I hope that the program will produce new knowledge on various facets of international relations and the law, including this matter. Thank you.
Indeed, regional institutions are of utmost importance in addressing the issues of our region. They guide the way regional cooperation work and develop. There are quite a few things that contribute to the unique nature of Nepal, but the one that stood out since ancient times to this date is the geographical situation of our country. The founder of our nation, King Prithviraj Shah, called us yam between two borders, with Nepal being the yam and China and India being the borders. However, with the development of technology, international relations and cooperation, our role can be so much more. Now, in addressing this unique geopolitical situation in Nepal's relationship with India and China, I invite Dr. Karga Kesi on the stage.
Good afternoon, chief guest, and of course the organizer, host, Professor Sanwala and Professor Patel, all distinguished participants, those who are on to the dais, and young participants from Nepal and beyond, those who are here for discoursing to set the future of the world, not only South Asia, but from the world. For the first time, I would like to congratulate the Kathmandu School of Law and Professor Sanwala's team for organizing such a very mega event, especially incorporating the youth alike from the senior academic and scholars, those who alone can make this future of the world, especially what we are discussing here today, onward, will be developed, evolved, promoted by the youngsters, so that it's a great event. So once again, I would like to congratulate Kathmandu School of Law, which has been working incessantly in this academic arena for a long while. So in the meantime, I would like to express my sincere thankfulness to his team, Professor Sangrala's team for inviting me to speak to you on Nepal's geopolitical situation, especially with a special context to India and China. So let me start from what geopolitics is. Actually, geopolitics is a discourse, is a tool which has been used by the realist school of thought for a long while, even before during the Greek era. For past 2,500 years ago, Greek philosopher, historian, Thucydides, he used the realist school of thought and followed by Machiavelli in the 14th century in Europe. And of course, back in Orientalism, Chanakya also spoke somehow about power which is real, which is close to realism. And after 1940s, American international relation theorist Hans J. Morgenthau, he spoke about realist school of thought. So these realist people, historian, academician, and practitioner, they have been using geopolitics as a tool to enhance their sphere of influence to their neighborhood. So what I would like to skip somehow, we in Nepal, being a geostrategically very difficult location, I personally want to skip from the geopolitics. Unlike focusing on geopolitics, we cannot forget, we cannot undervalue, we cannot undermine the geopolitics because this is already here and we can move from there. However, in the changing dynamics of the global power relations, during the Cold War, there was geopolitics. However, ideology was guiding principle of foreign policy during the Cold War since 45 to 90s. Even during those Cold War era, when the global foreign policy paradigm was largely influenced by ideology, liberal world and communist world. However, there were of course geopolitics, so that Afghanistan was intervened by the Soviet Union during the 70s. And similar way in Latin America, most of the Latin American countries was largely influenced and ruled by, tried to influence by America, North American state. Similarly in Europe largely tried to influence Africa because African countries were their past colonies. So the geopolitics was there during the Cold War era, even if Cold War was largely guided by ideology. Since after 1990s, when the end of history, like famous jargons used by American neoconservative Francis Fukuyama, what he said that, well, from now on, there will be no longer any ideology. Liberal international relations will be the guiding principle of global political affairs, foreign policy. Even after then, probably somehow that discourse has been weakened, but once again rolled back in 2014. When Russia took over Crimea in 2014, international relations theorists has started to discuss that geopolitics has become rolled back in international relations. So that, because if you are in the neighborhood, a big power, major power, regional power always looks down to the small power. That is geopolitics. And against this background, what I would like to talk about our context is that, well, geopolitics is largely disadvantaging Nepal, unlike taking advantage most so far. Even until this day, until today, what we did influenced by geopolitics is that, of course, we had a Sugovin Treaty. It was one of the best examples of geopolitics because we lost 1/3 of our territory, and then after 1950, we had a treaty. Look, the articles of 1950 treaty. Some of the provisions of 1950 treaty are largely impressed by geopolitics. After then, we had another treaty with China. Probably to make balance between China and India, we had another peace and friendship treaty with China in 60. That is also another example of geopolitics. 65, we had another treaty with India for security, confidential security stuff. That was another most advancing endeavors to have largely speared are influenced or somehow scared with the geopolitical mighty elephant inside the room. You know, it's a very, very often talked jargon, elephant in the room. If there is elephant in the room, this is the geopolitics. That is largely makes scared the small part. So we had so many other hassles with our neighbors sometimes. Once in a while, trade and transit treaty. We have encountered 3 blockades, 69, 79, 89 and 2015. These blockades are the best examples of the laboratory of geopolitics. Then, having these experiences, what we have to do from now on, this is some of my points I would like to share with you all here, is we need to skip somehow from geopolitics to geoeconomics. Geoeconomics is a very contemporary idea, unlike talking much about cultural affinity, unlike talking much about the religious similarities. Geopolitics is here. Security is here. Sovereignty is here. Power is here. Hard power is here. We don't have hard power. We cannot like cope up with the hard power with our neighbors, so that geoeconomics is the only way out to make somehow compensate from the geopolitical hazards, geopolitical like negative implications what we have been encountering for a long while, centuries unlike decades. So for geoeconomics, we need to improve our connectivity. We need to diversify our foreign policy. We have to look global, unlike looking only to neighbors. We have to look global. While looking global, we have to have better connectivity to go through the global. So diversify foreign policy to build up connectivity and to look the global and enhance the trade and make our life back home better, more affluent. Since unless and until we won't develop our soft power being a middle income country, we always be deprived from the geopolitics. So that, having said this, what I would like to share with you all that geopolitics is a reality, is a realism, is a sub-unit of realism, is a tool of realism. Realism is power. If you are powerful, no matter what kind of democracy you are, we don't believe that much. Democracy, you know that liberalism, but they believe in the power, and power always looks down the small power. In that context, in order to enhance our soft power, a small state, small power only can survive and foster their foreign policy and international relations or national interest through soft power. For soft power, connectivity, trade, commerce, going global, and having engaged with the multilateral organization or multilateral diplomacy will be the best way to enhance our national interest. So that I think I have been given just 7 minutes. Probably I have already crossed 7 minutes. Thank you very much once again. And
So that was a very informative summation of Nepal's role and a very critical analysis of geopolitics. We look forward to your sessions during our 10 days program. Ladies and gentlemen, we are nearing the end of our ceremony. Without further ado, I would like to welcome Honorable Ishwar Pokhriel to the podium for his address. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hand together.
धन्यवाद। यो महत्त्वपूर्ण कार्यक्रममा अध्यक्षता गर्नुहुने अध्यक्षज्यू, काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ लद्वारा आयोजित पहिलो काठमाडौँ डायलगको उद्घाटन समारोहमा अध्यक्षता गरिदिनुभएका आदरणीय अध्यक्षज्यू, कार्यक्रममा उपस्थित रहने सम्पूर्ण विशिष्ट महानुभावहरू र यो इन्टरेक्सन प्रोग्राममा 7वटा देशबाट प्रतिनिधित्व गरेर आउनुभएका यो कानुनको क्षेत्रमा विशेष रुचि राख्ने र यो रिजनमा देशहरूको बीचको सम्बन्धलाई थप प्रगाढ बनाउनुपर्छ भन्ने उद्देश्य राखेर आउनुभएका आदरणीय सहभागी साथीहरू, यो काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ लद्वारा आयोजित पहिलो काठमाडौँ डायलगको उद्घाटन समारोहमा उपस्थितिका निम्ति सहभागी हुन पाउँदा सबभन्दा पहिले म आफूलाई अत्यन्त खुसी लागेको कुरा म निवेदन गर्न चाहन्छु। सर्वप्रथम यो सप्ताहव्यापी यस कार्यक्रममा उपस्थित दक्षिण एसियाली राष्ट्रहरू नेपाल, भारत, पाकिस्तान, अफगानिस्तान, बङ्गलादेश, मित्र राष्ट्र चीन र युगान्डाका युवाहरू बीच अनुभव, ज्ञान र भावना आदान प्रदान गर्ने अवसर सृजना गर्नुभएकोमा सबभन्दा पहिले म काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ ललाई हार्दिक धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छु र यो नयाँ र विशेष इनिसिएसनको लागि हार्दिक बधाई पनि भन्न चाहन्छु। निश्चय नै हाम्रा यी मुलुकहरू बीच नयाँ पुस्ताका युवा तथा विद्यार्थीहरू बीचको अनुभव र ज्ञानको आदान प्रदानले बहुपक्षीय मुलुक बीचको अन्तर सम्बन्धमा यो ब्रिजको काम गर्नेछ, पुलको काम गर्नेछ भन्ने म ठान्दछु। एक अर्कालाई अझ गहिरो गरी बुझ्ने मौका प्रदान गर्ने विश्वास लिएको छु। तपाईहरू विदेशी पाहुनाहरूलाई हाम्रो सुन्दर र विविधतायुक्त देशमा हार्दिक स्वागत पनि गर्न चाहन्छु। आर्थिक विकासको हिसाबले नेपाल विकासोन्मुख मुलुक हो। लामो समय पोलिटिकल इन्स्टेबिलिटीबाट हाम्रो मुलुक गुज्रियो, जसका कारण हाम्रो देशले आर्थिक विकास र उन्नतिमा राम्रो प्रदर्शन गर्न सकेन। तर आज यसो भनिरहँदा हामी राजनीतिक स्थायित्व र विकासको बाटोमा अग्रसर भइरहेका छौँ भन्ने कुरा म यहाँहरू सबैलाई निवेदन गर्न चाहन्छु। आर्थिक समृद्धि र विकासको यात्रामा मुलुकलाई अगाडि बढाउने बहस भइरहँदा तपाईहरूले आयोजना गर्नुभएको यो जमघट आफैमा अत्यन्त महत्त्वपूर्ण र सन्देशमूलक छ भन्ने विश्वास मैले लिएको छु। सन् 2015 मा नेपाली जनताका प्रतिनिधिहरूबाट पहिलो पटक संविधान जारी भए पश्चात यसलाई कार्यान्वयन गर्ने कुरामा हामी अघि बढिरहेका छौँ। खास गरी संविधानले व्यवस्था गरेको गणतन्त्र, धर्मनिरपेक्षता र संहिता जस्ता महत्त्वपूर्ण पक्षलाई व्यवस्थित गर्दै हामीहरू धेरै अगाडि बढिसकेका छौँ। संविधानको मर्म बमोजिम 3 तहको निर्वाचन सम्पन्न गरिसकेका छौँ। देशलाई संहिताको संस्थागत र संरचनागत विकासतर्फ हामी अगाडि बढाइरहेका छौँ। हामीले नयाँ संरचना, संस्था र प्रक्रियाको थालनी गरेका छौँ। सम्पूर्ण रूपमा नयाँ व्यवस्थामा जाँदा त्यही अनुरूपको नयाँ समस्याहरू सिर्जना हुने कुरा स्वाभाविक नै भयो। संविधानले नयाँ ऐन, नियमहरू बनाउन र संविधानको कार्यान्वयन गर्न हामीलाई 3 वर्षको समय प्रदान गरेको थियो। हामीले 3 वर्ष पार गर्न लागिरहँदा यसमा महत्त्वपूर्ण सफलताहरू हामीले हासिल गरेका छौँ। हामीले भर्खरै यही हप्ता मात्रै 5 वटा नयाँ ऐनहरू कार्यान्वयनमा ल्याएका छौँ भने यही बिचमा नयाँ मुलुकी ऐन, देवानी तथा फौजदारी संहिता हामीहरूले जारी गरेका छौँ, जुन नेपालको कानुनको इतिहासमा एउटा हिस्टोरिकल स्टेप हो भन्ने हामी ठान्दछौँ। नयाँ संविधानलाई पूर्णतः कार्यान्वयन गर्न सङ्घीय सरकारका लागि 110, प्रदेश सरकारका लागि 22 र स्थानीय निकायका लागि 6 वटा कानुनहरू बनाउनु पर्ने आवश्यकता छ। त्यसमध्ये स्थानीय निकायले बनाउनु पर्ने 6 वटा कानुनहरू मध्ये सङ्घीय सरकारको कानुन, न्याय तथा संसदीय मामला मन्त्रालयले सबै स्थानीय निकायलाई नमुना पठाएर सबै स्थानीय निकायले ती कानुनहरू पारित पनि गरिसकेका छन् र ती कानुन कार्यान्वयनमा आइसकेका छन्। अब देशभरका स्थानीय निकायहरूको सञ्चालनका लागि कुनै पनि कानुनी अडचन छैन। हामी एउटा गतिका साथ अब अगाडि बढ्नेछौँ। यो तपाईहरुका निम्ति जानकारी रहोस् भन्नको लागि मैले एउटा सन्दर्भवश यो प्रसङ्ग उठाएको कुरा म जानकारी गराउन चाहन्छु। त्यस्तै अहिले प्रदेश सरकार सञ्चालनका लागि आवश्यक 22 वटा कानुनहरू मध्ये सङ्घीय सरकारको कानुन, न्याय तथा संसदीय मामिला मन्त्रालयले 17 वटा कानुनहरूको नमुना सबै प्रदेशहरूमा पठाए बमोजिम ती निकायहरूको पारित गराएर पनि कार्यान्वयनमा आइसकेको छ। यसमा बाँकी 5 वटा कानुनहरू निर्माणका लागि सम्बन्धित मन्त्रालयले नमुना बनाउने गृह कार्य गर्दैछ र त्यो चाँडै नै प्रदेश सरकारलाई हामी उपलब्ध गराउँछौँ। मैले यो सबै हामी संविधान र कानुनका कुन कुन प्रक्रियाबाट अगाडि बढ्दैछौँ यसको एउटा संक्षिप्त जानकारीको लागि मात्र यो प्रसङ्ग उल्लेख गरेको कुरा म जानकारी गराउन चाहन्छु। केन्द्रीय संसदले बनाउनु पर्ने 110 वटा कानुनहरू मध्ये 87 वटा सामान्य कानुनहरू संसदबाट पारित भएर पनि कार्यान्वयनको तहमा गइसकेका छन्। संविधानले निर्दिष्ट गरेका मौलिक अधिकारका विषयहरूलाई कार्यान्वयन गराउन 16 वटा मौलिक अधिकारका कानुनहरू निर्माण गर्नुपर्ने छन्। तीमध्ये 11 वटा कानुनहरू संसदबाट पारित भइसकेका छन् भने बाँकी 5 वटा मध्ये 4 वटा सङ्घीय सरकारको मन्त्री परिषदबाट पारित भएर संसदमा गइसकेका छन् र बाँकी एउटा मन्त्री परिषदका विचाराधीन अवस्थामा पनि छ। यसरी हामीले निर्माण गर्नुपर्ने 138 वटा कानुनहरू मध्ये जम्मा 15 वटा कानुनहरू मात्रै निर्माण गर्न बाँकी छन् र ती बाँकी रहेका कानुनहरू दैनिक जीवनका लागि अत्यावश्यक कानुनहरू नभएकाले तत्काल हामीलाई संवैधानिक र कानुनी समस्याहरू आउने छैन। तथापि हामीहरू निर्धारित समयभित्रै ती कानुनहरू पनि बनाउनेछौँ। यो म यहाँहरूलाई जानकारी गराउन चाहन्छु। मूलतः हामी आर्थिक र सामरिक दुवै हिसाबले शक्तिशाली मुलुक जनगणतन्त्र चीन र भारतको बीचमा अवस्थित छौँ। त्रिदेशीय सम्बन्धको अन्तर्गुलनमा हाम्रा सम्बन्धहरू विकसित हुँदैछन्। मूलतः दुई देश बीचको उच्च आर्थिक प्रगति हाम्रा निम्ति सहयोगी र मार्गनिर्देशन बन्ने अपेक्षा हामीले लिएका छौँ। यति बेला हामीले एउटा नारा अगाडि सारेका छौँ, समृद्ध नेपाल, सुखी नेपाली। यसलाई एउटा अभियानको रूपमा हामीहरू अगाडि बढाउने प्रयत्नमा छौँ र यसको लागि दुई छिमेकी मुलुकको साथ र सहयोग हाम्रा निम्ति अपरिहार्य छ। म यो सभामा केवल दुईटा छिमेकी मुलुकको मात्रै कुरा गर्दिनँ। यहाँहरू जुन जुन देशबाट प्रतिनिधित्व गरेर आउनुभएका छ सबै साथीहरूलाई हामी ती सबै मित्र देशहरूसित हामी सहयोगका साथ अगाडि बढ्न चाहन्छौँ। हाम्रो अपेक्षा यो हो भन्ने कुरा पनि म निवेदन गर्न चाहन्छु। यस अभियानमा सरकार र नेपाली जनताको मात्रै नभएर हामीप्रति सद्भाव राख्ने मित्र राष्ट्रहरूको पनि साथ र सहयोगको अपेक्षा हामीले गरेका छौँ। एक हिसाबले भन्दा लामो सङ्क्रमणकालीन असहजताको पीडाबाट उन्मुक्ति पाएर पुनर्जागृत हुने चरणमा हामी छौँ। हामीलाई तपाईँहरूको अनुभव, बौद्धिक विमर्श र सुझावको खाँचो छ। आशा छ यस सम्मेलनले हामीलाई त्यस दिशामा महत्त्वपूर्ण दिशानिर्देश गर्न सक्नेछ। यहाँ उपस्थित युवाहरूले दिएका अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय अनुभव र ज्ञानलाई हामीले प्रयोग गर्न सक्दा हामी अत्यन्त खुसी हुनेछौँ। र यो आयोजना जुन काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ लले गरेको छ म फेरि पनि त्यसको लागि प्रशंसा गर्न चाहन्छु। अहिले रक्षा मन्त्रालयको नेतृत्व मैले गरिरहँदा तपाईहरुबाट केही महत्त्वपूर्ण अपेक्षा गरेको छु। खास गरी अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय सुरक्षा नीतिका सन्दर्भमा तपाईहरुका बीचमा बहस र छलफल होस् भन्ने हामीले चाहेका छौं। अबको अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय सुरक्षामा परम्परागत प्रणालीका साथै मानवीय सुरक्षा, गरिबी निवारण, विपद व्यवस्थापनसँग कसरी जुड्ने भन्ने सन्दर्भमा ध्यान दिनुपर्छ र हामीले केही कामको तयारी गर्न खोज्दैछौँ। यो हाम्रो तयारीमा तपाईहरुको अनुभवहरू हाम्रो लागि सहयोगी हुनेछन् भन्ने हाम्रो विश्वास हो। त्यस सन्दर्भमा तपाईहरुका सुझाव र दृष्टिकोण हाम्रा निम्ति सहयोगी सिद्ध हुनेछन्। म यहाँलाई यो निवेदन गर्न चाहन्छु। हामी समृद्ध नेपालको अभियानमा जुटिरहँदा सुरक्षा निकायलाई समृद्धको अभियानमा कसरी परिचालन गर्ने भन्ने सन्दर्भमा सुझाव आउनु भन्ने पनि हामी जसले गर्दा हाम्रो जस्तो विकासोन्मुख मुलुकलाई नयाँ ढङ्गले अघि बढ्न सघाउ पुग्ने छ भन्ने हामीलाई लागेको हो। तपाईहरु यहाँ रहिरहँदा मैले अघि यो सम्मेलन भने यो तपाईहरुको एउटा अनुभवको आदान प्रदान गर्ने महत्त्वपूर्ण फोरम पनि हो। वास्तवमा यो अनुभव आदान प्रदानबाट निकालिएका निष्कर्षहरूले धेरै दूरगामी महत्त्व राख्छन् र यो आज काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ लले प्रारम्भ गर्यो। त्यसको लागि म पुनः आयोजकको नाताले त्यो संस्थालाई हार्दिक धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छु र यो सिङ्गै रिजनमा एउटा जनस्तरमा सम्बन्धलाई यसले अगाडि बढाउने कुराको प्रारम्भ गर्नेछ, यो विश्वास पनि म व्यक्त गर्न चाहन्छु। तपाईहरुको यो ठाउँको कार्यक्रम सफलताका साथ सम्पन्न होस्। यो ठाउँको तपाईहरुको बसाई अत्यन्त सुखमय होस्। यो कार्यक्रमको सफलताको कामना गर्दै बिदा हुन्छु। धन्यवाद।
Honorable Sir, thank you for your kind words of congratulations and wishes towards the organizing team and the Kathmandu Dialogue. Our Honorable Chief Guest very eloquently summed up the feeling of all Nepali nationals. First, our pride at promulgating a new and progressive constitution in 2015, a new civil and criminal code in 2018, and he further stated that we are well on the path of implementing our constitution. With only 15 more laws to enact, we will very soon implement the federal structure of our country. Second, our happiness at welcoming and hosting you in our beautiful and diverse nation. He thanks you, the delegates, for taking your time and recognizing the gravity this program holds for each of us individually and our region collectively. Further, he urges you to enjoy these 10 days and learn as much as possible from the sessions and about Nepali culture and people, and to show and teach us your culture, your spirit, and your heritage. His message, grow and help us grow, learn and help us learn, is truly heartfelt. Third, he expresses our collective hope in strengthening the relationship between and within South Asian countries and China. Thank you, sir. We deeply appreciate your positive response. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, let's give for a vote of thanks. Please.
Very Honorable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Defense and all my colleagues on the dais and my friends and my students of the dais. It's almost more than 2 hours. Many things have been already said. My role especially starts tomorrow, so I don't have much to speak today. My role starts tomorrow and it will be very hard. So I don't want to talk much today. I would like to thank with very high appreciation to Deputy Prime Minister of Nepal, who holds a very important ministry. Actually, he is the kind of savior of the nation right now because he holds the military. And military is what defends the country. So it's a very important responsibility for me actually. Thank you very much, sir. You got a chance and to keep you 2 hours here. A lot of struggles we have to do for that. And thank you very much, Dipendra, for that. He has been crucial to working behind, like we were off and on talking, like, can we keep Deputy Prime Minister for 2 hours? And I said that, no, this time we have to keep him. So, anyway, we have been successful, you're with us. So I would like to appreciate your time, appreciate your efforts and very kind words and very important words that you spoke to the mass. I would like to express my great appreciation and thanks to Brigadier General Gokulji, then Govind Kushan Shah, then also I was supposed to thank in presence, but Her Excellency Ambassador Yu Hong got a very special notice, so she had to leave. Thank you very much also. Both of you, Govinda sir is always with me. I mean, whenever I make a mistake, I ask him and then either he corrects or he says that, okay, you're right, go on. That's how he's a great inspiration for me too. I would like to thank Professor Casey. He runs department alone almost, I think. He has to do a lot of work, so he got time to come. I'd also like to thank Dean Dr. Tara Shapota, Law Campus, Kanon Shinkai, Law Faculty, and then my colleagues from Bangladesh, Mustafa, somehow partly student, good student, not only student, and my colleague, what say in Nepali, we call it Bhai. Rather, I say Bhai, Ismail Khan. And Sanjay Gupta is a very respectable professor in India. He has been here. And last not the least, Professor Li Tao from Sichuan, a very prominent professor in China. And she is one of the professors in China who really understands Nepal. So that's how we had a very long talk yesterday also. So all of your presence is that South Asia is moving here together with China. So thank all of us. I just finished a book writing on strategically from the point of view exactly what Professor Casey said. It's not geopolitics, it's geoeconomics now. We should become rich. When I was writing this book, I got a couple of very important information. Hidden in Chinese chronicles actually. In Chinese language, but somehow a couple of my friends helped me to translate it. In 640, that means almost 1400 years before, when Islam captured Khotan, a place also called Khotan, meeting India, China, and Middle East, they captured Khotan and the Silk Road to go to Europe and China and India blocked. So Xian, the emperor of Xian, then sent to his emissary, headed by Wang Shuans, to Shuangchong Gompo, and he asked to find out if it is possible to continue Silk Road via Nepal. But that time our king, was in Tibet. He was in asylum because there was a problem here in Nepal. Abhir military chief put a young crown prince in throne, and they had to flee to Tibet. So since our king was there that time, so the king here said that, no, it's not time for you to come to Nepal, it is risky. So he didn't allow him. But later on, Narendra Dev, our king, that king became king of Nepal. They came here, and that time onwards, Nepal established a center. Kathmandu was a center of Silk Road, which even Chinese historians have not much explored, and Indian historians not explored. So this is first time I explored a lot of this historical fact. So Silk Road from Kathmandu, Banaras, then Lucknow, and then west to Afghanistan, and then Iraq, and Iran, Iraq, and then Italy. So that was a Silk Road. Almost went for 300 years. That made us so rich in Kathmandu. So today we have so big temples. Nepal became really rich that time. And what was rich Nepal's role, you know? Both India was requesting Nepal to keep its good relation with China, and Chinese emperors were urging Nepal to keep good relations with Mother that time. So if Nepal is rich, only then we can bring China and India together. So that is what is for me geoeconomics. So we should be rich. If we want to reach alone, we cannot be rich. We should help India become also rich, northern India. And the only way of north part of India becoming rich is bringing Chinese investment in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. So instead of Jatiya racial politics, I think industry should come out in North India. That's what we believe. And if that happens, so what India will get? India will get a chance to go to West China, can establish a lot of industry, and then from West China they can go to Central Asia, and they can go to Europe. So India will be rich, China will be rich. Two rich countries will not be harmful to Nepal. Only hungry tigers become dangerous. So China and India both are developed. Why they are threatening to us? So we want to be a part of that. So only reason of this program is that let's South Asia in 1830. In 1830, India plus South Asia had 13.5% GDP of the world. 13.5% of the world GDP. China had 17% GDP in 1830. Total Europe had only 3%. Just opposite today. South Asia has only 3% GDP. China is going up. Europe had so big. How it happened? Because the colonial rule over the last 200 years looted everything from South Asia and China, so we became poor. So today, together Southeast Asia, South Asia, China and Gulf, Asia has become a big hub, economic hub. Probably that would not be very welcoming kind of thing to the West. So maybe West then try to divide India and China, try to divide South Asia, Southeast Asia and China. Maybe West will try to divide Japan and China. So if we Asians are wise people like in the ancient time, the time of Chanakya, time of Lao Tzu, Confucius, and many other philosophers, it is for Raj Chandra in India, me in Kathmandu, and Professor Litao come together, forget conflict, develop industry, develop economy, and become hub of the world. We can live together. So this is the beginning Kathmandu dialogue. Very good. So we have invited young people. Maybe in my generation I will not be happy to have this very good opportunity have. But in your generation probably it is possible. So these 40 people in Kathmandu over the next 7 days will be discussing what to explore what Indian television said and what Nepalese television said. But we will discuss what can we learn from China and what can we learn from India. How can we come closer? How can we become good friends? And how can we protect our independence, resolve our problem? We can remain a very viable and very strong Asia without fight. So this is the responsibility of young generation. So we are here. So I would like to thank you for being in Kathmandu. The reason is that if this program takes place in India, Bangladeshi people will not get visa. Pakistani will not get visa. We are still quite behind. But Nepal is a connecting point. So Nepal is already a connecting point. Because we give visa to everyone, that means you're connected. So I would like to urge Deputy Prime Minister, we have a big scope in Nepal. We can bring a lot of students from other parts of South Asia and China. Therefore, hopefully, on behalf of this big gathering, on behalf of almost 500 youths, on behalf of Kathmandu School of Law, on behalf of this program, माननीय मन्त्रीज्यूलाई यो सन्देश क्याबिनेटसँग पुर्याइदिन पनि अनुरोध गर्छु कि हामी जस्ता संस्थाहरूले ग्रो गर्न पायौँ भने देश अवश्य अगाडि जान्छ। हामी सरकारको पनि पक्कै डिफेन्ड गर्छौँ। म यहाँलाई काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ लमा आएर हाम्रो विद्यार्थीहरूसँग यहाँले अघि राख्नुभएका सुरक्षा सम्बन्धी कुराहरूमा खुलेर छलफल गर्दिन, आजै निम्ता प्रदान गर्छु। मेरा विद्यार्थीले फुलका गुच्छा लिएर बाटैमा स्वागत गर्नेछ। के गर्नु न यङ जेनेरेसन यङ जेनेरेसन। त्यसैले शशीजी हुनुहुन्छ यहाँ, हामीलाई विश्वविद्यालय बनाउनमा कसेर लाग्नु भएको हुनाले शशीजी पनि हुनुहुन्छ, हाम्रो क्षेत्रको सभासद हुनुहुन्छ प्रदेशको। अब केही दिनमा हामी बिल मुभ गर्ने तयारीमा छौँ। गोकुलजीसँग त अब दुईटा नाता छ, मिल्कीको नाता पनि छ, छोरी पढाएको नाता पनि छ। गोविन्द सरसँग अर्को नाता छ, अहिले लोकसभाको सदस्य, पहिला हाम्रो फ्याकल्टी, त्योभन्दा पहिला गृह सचिव। So this is a big, nice forum. I would like to finally thank all of you for having time and being with us. In the days to come, we will work hard. So that's why all participants were sent to program in Bakunde. So from tomorrow you will have time to enjoy. So probably this morning you enjoyed a lot of food, yes? So from tomorrow morning, while you work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Teach, yet I may not every time. The knowledge, humor, and the presentation you bring on the floor is always exemplary. Now, to show our appreciation towards our esteemed guest speakers, and as a commemoration of our opening, Kathmandu School of Law has prepared a small token of appreciation. May I invite Professor Dr. Yuvraj Samrola to present the token of appreciation to our guests. Minister of Dr. Govinda Prasad Kusum, Honorary Member, Public Service Commission, Nepal. Sahayak Rafi, Gokul Bandari, Nepal Army. Please let's not stop the pattern. Professor Li Tao, Executive Director, Sichuan University, China. Professor Dr. Tara Prasad Sapkota, Sichuan University. Dr. Kanda Kisi, Associate Professor, Sichuan University. Mr. Ismail Khan, Pakistan Institute for Peace Studies. Associate Professor Mustafa Hussain, Raj University. Dr. Sanjay Gupta, University of Jammu, India. I think we have come to an end of distribution of token of appreciation. Now, for concluding remarks and declaring the opening of Kathmandu Dialogue, I would like to welcome the chair, our great Grand Professor Madhav Prasad Acharya.
Honorable Chief Guest of this Assembly, Deputy Prime Minister and Deputy Minister, dignitaries seated on the dais, visiting faculty members of Kathmandu School of Law, student delegates and students of Kathmandu School of Law, staff member, ladies and gentlemen. Dear students, if you want to survive even after death, either write book that is worthy of reading or do work that is worthy of writing. Intellectual exercise is something always invites some sort of dedication, some sort of activity. The present course exam on contemporary issue to discuss in broader perspective. We cannot live in isolation. We are interconnected. Travel in one part of the world, just the travel on another part. Therefore, we are to work together along with the exchange of ideas, along with the exchange of knowledge and cooperation. We are supposed to be active during the all course time, proactive, inquisitive, and also diligent. We are looking forward to your performance in the closing ceremony of this program. There is nothing to speak, nothing special on my part. Much more is on you. In the days to come, in the days to the 10 days program. with yours. I would once again express my deep gratitude and concern to the chief guest of this assembly and those who visited to us to grace this program, to give this program a success. Looking forward to your success and your activity. I declare this program has come to the end. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. In case our audience were wondering why I called him Great Grand Professor, it's because he is my professor's professor's professor. So there's some serious professorception going on here. So on this note, our formal program has come to an end. However, we still have our photograph session remaining. I request the delegates to remain seated and slowly make way towards the stage for a group photo, and our volunteers and organizing committee as well. Volunteers.
Thank you.